19 wickets tumble on day for the bowlers. Lancashire will head to Sophia Gardens in fine fettle after last week's result against Yorkshire at Emirates Old Trafford, and they had hopes of extending their lead at the top of Group 3, which currently sits at 24 points. The hosts won the first competition of the day though, the toss won, and the visitors put into bat, and they were struggling straight away. No ton this time for Jennings. They'd play their way to 32 when Glamorgan found their second wicket. Wells padded up to Whale, out LBW for 10. Lancashire didn't get much further before they were 3 down. Davis, out caught by Salter. Bohannon and Livingston steered Lancashire past 50 runs. Could they rebuild for their side? They'd get as far as 66 when Bohannon was caught behind off the bowling of Hogan. Glamorgan's morning success continued. The wicket meant the visitors would head into lunch in a bit of a sticky patch at 74 for 4. Some work to do after the break. But the resumption wasn't kind to Lancashire. Into the 80s when Villas was pinned LBW for 12. And just a few balls later, Livingston followed, caught behind, and Lancashire were now 6 down. Wood and Lamb had Lancashire on 100. The number 7 found some joy and dished out some tap to the Glamorgan bowlers. But that approach led to his departure, out LBW to Neser as he looked to whip another one to the boundary. He'd helped his side get on the road to 150, but his departure saw Lancashire get bogged down and eventually succumb to the pressure. Lamb struck on the pads and out LBW to Neser. Mahmood went down in history with his maiden 5 for last time out, but he wouldn't be able to do much with the bat. Stumps left in a mess when he chopped Douthwaite on. The visitors made it as far as 173 when they lost their final wicket. Douthwaite the man to take it, Bailey out the same way as Mahmood before him. Lancashire will be disappointed with their return after a mammoth innings last time out saw them only have to bat once. Plenty of starts for the side, but the top score of 31 belonged to Tom Bailey, and that told the tale. David Lloyd and Joe Cook were the men tasked with getting Glamorgan up and running, and for a time, it looked like they could unite for a long-serving partnership. But with the score on 38, Lancashire had their first wicket. Mahmood back in amongst them. Lloyd bowled with no shot offered. Labuschagne and Cook regrouped and recovered. The Aussie with the bulk of the runs as they moved past 50 and into the 70s. That's when Lancashire picked up their second. Cook bowled by Bailey for 14. It was 2 in 2 for Bailey. Billy Root out first ball, LBW. Lancashire were doing much better with the ball than they had with the bat. With the score in the 90s, Bailey had Carlson trapped LBW. Cook then went for a 13-ball duck, caught by Bohannon off the bowling of Lamb. Glamorgan still shy of 100 runs. 4 from Labuschagne ensured they would tick into 3 figures before the end of the day. The Aussie looked to be the key for Glamorgan, but Lancashire had him with the next ball, out for 44, and the visitors were now on top. Douthwaite and Neser hit back a little. Could they start to think about 150 before the end of the day? They got as far as 127 when Mahmood had another wicket. Douthwaite out on the pull and caught for 18. Whale took the long handle to Mahmood in response. The Lancs bowler sent soaring over the ropes, but Wood took advantage. Whale caught down the leg side to leave Glamorgan with just 2 wickets in hand. Make that 1. Mahmood again with the wicket. Salter's feet frozen, his pads found, and he was gone, LBW for none. Neser fired them to 150 and promptly walked off. The single that took them to the mark was the last action of the day. Glamorgan finished 23 behind their visitors on a day that had seen 19 wickets tumble and only 323 runs scored. This match was moving along at a fair rate of knots. Would that continue on day 2? Glamorgan close in on win after Lancashire collapse. It was 1 for the bowlers on day 1. 19 wickets tumbled to leave the game just 1 wicket away from the 3rd innings. Glamorgan down to their numbers 10 and 11 and still 23 runs behind their visitors. And that's all they would muster. 150 for Glamorgan, the last action of their innings just Hogan's wicket, unable to make up the ground and run out. Labuschagne had been Glamorgan's chief line of resistance with 44 for the world number 3 ranked batsman, but aside from his knock, the hosts had rather limped their way through the innings. Mahmood and Bailey impressed with 3 each for Lancs. And they got themselves off to a better start than they had in their first innings, out of single digits without damage, and solid early on. It got them to 38 runs before they lost their first wicket. Jennings out for 12, LBW to Whale. Davis and Wells ticked along well. They took the total to 50 runs and then into the 70s. Perhaps they could take Lancashire's lead to 3 figures. They'd be denied that opportunity. Wells cleaned up by Douthwaite with the advantage 95. Davis was playing a good knock. He and Bohannon found their feet, and the opener was heading towards 50. He wouldn't be able to get there though. Out LBW to Neser for 47. His wicket signalled lunch, with Lancashire 88 for 3, leading by 111. Livingston joined Bohannon at the resumption, and the pair had 3 figures on the board in pretty quick time, but Bohannon wouldn't stick around for very long, out-bowled by Neser with the lead 132. Livingston would be right behind him, caught off Douthwaite, Glamorgan surging back into it. Wood fell without facing. Labuschagne found the stumps as they looked for a quick single. Neser then had the skipper. Villas out LBW, Lancashire crumbling, and a 5th wicket after lunch was forthcoming. Tom Bailey out caught behind to the first ball he faced. Mahmood and Parkinson calmed things down. Priceless runs added by the pair with the lead just a shade over 150 now, and the two took the total past 150, the lead moving towards 200. Glamorgan getting a little bogged down, looking for the final 2 wickets. They found the first of them. Cook did really well, stood up to the stumps to take the catch off Lamb. They'd get as far as 164 when Mahmood was removed. The Lancashire innings over, the lead 187, and the finishing line in sight a little over midway through day 2. The hosts had battled their way back into the game after lunch. Just Davis on 47, and Wells had managed to breach 20 runs, and the door had been left open for Glamorgan. They had Neser to thank for their opportunity. 4 wickets for the Aussie after some exceptional bowling. Could they take advantage after tea? Glamorgan made a decent start to the final chase. Cook and Lloyd coping well against some hostile bowling from Mahmood and Bailey. The Lancashire men were trying everything they could to upset their hosts' rhythm. It meant they'd have to wear a few, but the opening pair ploughed on undeterred. 50 up in decent time. The required runs now below 150. Lancashire finally had the wicket they'd been hunting with the score on 72. Cook out, caught by Livingston for 38. And they followed it with another, both openers gone within a few overs of each other. Bailey with the wicket, Lloyd gone for 41. Glamorgan found 3 figures through Labuschagne and Root, but it wouldn't be long before Lancs had their third. Root out LBW to Mahmood. Could Lancashire save themselves? Carlson has shown his worth to Glamorgan throughout the summer and did so again, allowing Labuschagne the strike and watching on as he got into his work. The pair put on 35 before the close of play. The score at the end of the day was 137 for 3. Glamorgan required just 51 more runs, but with this game moving along at quite some rate and wickets continuing to tumble, you wouldn't bet against Lancashire turning this one around on day 3.
Well, Michael, how do you see this game at the end of two very interesting days of cricket?
It's been a strange game, hasn't it? I definitely feel like we're on top at the moment, but plenty of cricket still to go. It's been a strange one because at times batters have been dominant and then all of a sudden wickets fall in clumps, so we've got to be wary about that tomorrow, for sure.
Well, you've batted and bowled on it. What's the wicket like?
It's a strange one, as I said before. It carries through at times, and then once the ball gets soft, it actually reversed today, which is, I didn't expect that at the start of the game, to be honest. So with the new ball, it didn't do much today. So we thought we're going to try to get this ball to reverse as quick as possible, and thankfully that paid off.
How about your own performance today? 4 wickets, you seem to be steaming in with some purpose there.
Yeah, bowling with a bit of intent there, but to be honest, I don't think I was the best bowler today. Hogan, Lloydie and Wheelie, they bowled quite tightly today, and I actually leaked a couple of runs, but I was in the wickets, and definitely Hogan could have got a couple there himself.
So 188 to win was the highest score of the game. If you get there, what do you make of what you've done so far with the bat?
So far, yeah, batters at the moment have shown how to do it with Marnus and Neser. They're going really well. I think tomorrow we've got to keep the same approach and being positive. You can't just sit there and not look to score. So I'm sure tomorrow those batters in there at the moment are going to try to look to score and take this game on.
And how much would it mean to Glamorgan to become the first side in the season to defeat Lancashire?
Oh, that would be great. I didn't know that, so yeah, that'll be fantastic if we can do that, especially at our home ground. Will make it even sweeter.
Very good morning, Borada, and welcome to the third and, in all probability, final day of this match between Glamorgan and Lancashire in the LV County Championship Group 3 here in Cardiff, where we're poised for a fascinating first session. It's doubtful there'll be any more than a first session, because the match position is that Glamorgan are 137 for 3. They need another 51 runs to beat Lancashire, who need a further 7 wickets to beat Glamorgan, and 188 looked a potentially demanding target, but Glamorgan have made decent inroads into it with the overnight batsman Marnus Labuschagne on 32 not out, Kiran Carlson on 14 not out, and some interesting remarks about the pitch last night from Lancashire's Alex Davis. Scott Reid.
Yes, good morning, Nick. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, looking forward to this this final day. We're still not entirely certain which way it will go. I think the most perhaps would put their money on a Glamorgan home win, which would seem more likely, with just 51 required and 7 wickets in hand. But as Alex Davis said last night, they'll be thinking if they can get in a nice and early, take a wicket or two within the first kind of 15, 20 minutes, half an hour or so, then that might just reverberate through the Glamorgan dressing room. And crucially, the wicket of Marnus Labuschagne, the longer he's out there, the more likely a Glamorgan win. So we shall see what happens. Yeah, Alex Davis last night, he described it as being a substandard pitch, is what the phrase he used. Certainly been a bit spicy and a bit sporty, but it's been good to watch. He's produced a good game of cricket. We'll see who comes out on the right end of it.
Indeed so. I think ideally Glamorgan would probably want to have higher scoring wickets for their championship games. It hasn't proved that way. Been a few low scores around. But for some of those games there were difficulties in weather preparation, and I think the fact that it rained heavily the day before the game obviously this week plays into things as well. So 51 to win. Scott Reid, Edward Bevan will be joining me on commentary for whatever period of play we do get this morning. It'll be Luke Wood to bowl the first ball of the morning, and he'll be bowling to Labuschagne on 32 not out. Just the one slip in. In comes Wood, bowls, and Labuschagne defends on the offside. No run. So the wickets so far, one apiece for Matt Parkinson, the spinner, Tom Bailey and Saqib Mahmood. Fall of wickets 72, 95, 102. Then a little partnership of 35 last night between Labuschagne and Carlson to just help steady the ship. Glamorgan still with work to do as Wood is in to bowl to Labuschagne, strikes him high on the pad, and they'll go through for a leg by as the ball bobbled out on the offside, and they were very quickly off the mark for that single. In fact, Labuschagne is an adventurous runner, but Carlson was even quicker off the mark there as the non-striker, as they wander down the pitch and do a bit of gardening. Here comes Wood then, 138 for 3, 50 to win. Wood bowls, and Carlson is beaten by one that keeps a bit low outside off stump. Didn't quite carry to Dane Vilas, who's standing back. And the Lancashire captain and skipper reorganises his gloves. Now he's ready, and Wood is at the top of his mark again. In comes Wood from the River Taff end, bowls to Carlson, who drives but won't get a run, to mid-off. Reminder that we're back behind closed doors for days 2 and 3 of this game, after having a few hundred in in a Welsh Government pilot scheme officially for day one. But there will be supporters here for Thursday's game against Gloucestershire in the T20. And if you remember, check your emails with details of how to make sure you get in. Wood is into bowl to Carlson, who'll get runs here, just the single in fact, guiding it down to wide third man. The throw quickly on its way back towards the middle to make sure that they didn't think of a second run. So, been eventful couple of days. Lots of wickets falling. So if Glamorgan were to get there relatively comfortably, then I suppose that would lessen the criticisms of the wicket. As Wood bowls and Labuschagne gets an edge down towards third man, and it'll run away for 4. Slightly off the edge, but under control. Nowhere near any fielder. 143 for 3. Here on BBC Sport Online. Update for BBC Radio Wales to come up very shortly. Glamorgan have made a good start to the morning. They're 143 for 3, needing another 45 to beat previously unbeaten Lancashire in this low-scoring game. We've already seen an edged boundary from Marnus Labuschagne, on whom much of Glamorgan's hopes depend. He's on 36, Carlson 15. Glamorgan 143 for 3, needing another 45. Scott Reed.
Hello. Oh, hello. It's going to be Tom Bailey from the Cathedral Road end. Blimey, isn't it a beautiful day? Fantastic weather across the 2.5 days we've had so far of the match. It's been superb. It really has. The ground looks a picture. Blue sky, sunshine beaming down. Here is Bailey in and bowling, and Carlson following it through to the keeper, and there is no run. Carlson's on 15 and Labuschagne's on 36. Little stroll through the park this morning, Nicholas. It was lovely. Had a little coffee in that.
Excellent.
That little coffee place just by the edge of the bridge.
Hopefully there'll be a few thousand more enjoying that experience come Thursday evening and next Sunday afternoon.
That would be tremendous. Bailey in to Carlson. Plays forward in defence, just pushing it out into the offside. And there's no run. So some of the Lancashire players walking through the park this morning as well. So obviously staying just in the city centre. Quite nice, that, isn't it, if you're a player? But to just kind of stumble out your hotel and stroll on the river into the to the ground, having to drive or get on the team coach or something like that. Very pleasant. It's a hive of activity, the park this morning. The dog walkers and exercisers, joggers, cyclists. Lots going on. Bailey in, bowling. Here's Carlson off the front foot, pushing it straight to extra cover. And there's no run.
So the message for members of Glamorgan is that you need to contact the club between 10 a.m. on Monday and 10 a.m. on Tuesday to make sure of your admission for either or both of the first T20 games.
Bailey comes right on over the wicket and bowls to Carlson, who plays a forward defensive, and there's no run.
So obviously 1,600 members are entitled to come in, but the club want to make sure that those 1,600 places are filled, and that those who don't intend to come here, their seats go to someone else.
So is it members first, or is it just open for everybody?
It's members first, okay. Yeah, and then season ticket holders for T20.
Excellent, right. Cool. Get in there. Get the ticket snapped up. Here's Bailey in and bowling, and Carlson just steering the ball down towards third man for a single. Nicely played away from his body, but in control of the ball. Just easing it down into the ground. Mahmood at the third man boundary fields. Carlson gets a single. He moves to 16. The score to 144 for 3.
And they will be allocated seats, as you would expect, rather than the usual choose your position for T20. Allocated seats only.
Dame Villas is standing up with Marnus Labuschagne on strike. There's a third man fine leg, the deep extra cover, deep square. Bailey comes in and balls to Labuschagne, steer down to third man, scampers through for one. He wants a second. Throw comes in, and it's a comfortable two. Not massively well picked up throw from Mahmood, but a comfortable two for Labuschagne. So a nice start for Glamorgan. Runs on the board. That target was just above 50. It's now below 50. 42 required. And Labuschagne's on 38 and Carlson's on 16.
Morning to Mark Harry, says what a brilliant game of proper cricket. Morning to Emir Evans and Play Up Pompey. Everyone else who's contacted me on Twitter. Graham Smith, not a great pitch, but should be scoring more than 200. Lee Neegs looking forward to the climax. Here comes Luke Wood. Balls, and Carlson's chipped that up in the air, and it's going to be caught by Vilas as that one came onto him rather quicker than he expected, and it was a long agonising wait for Carlson. It was just a question of who is going to catch it. It could have been keeper, it could have been bowler, it could have been the point fielder. And Glamorgan lose their fourth wicket, and Lancashire have the early breakthrough that they wanted. Carlson has gone for 16, still 42 runs needed to win.
It was a long, slow wait, wasn't it, for Carlson, because it went high, and Villas had a decent amount of ground to make up from behind the stumps. Got there comfortably, obviously, with the gloves on, took seniority with that. I'll take the catch, but it was one of those where Carlson looked up and then looked around and thought, well, there's probably about three that could get it, but just had to wait for a few seconds while Villas was in there. It's a good ball from Wood. He kind of hurried him up a little bit, and Lancashire certainly, obviously, needing an early breakthrough, which is what they've got. They probably wanted Labuschagne. They're going to need to get Labuschagne, of course, to win the match, but potentially. It's just what Lancashire needed. A wicket just keeps them in the match, doesn't it? And it just keeps it still nicely intriguing, isn't it? Still just in the game.
Yep, 146 for 4. For the 9 runs added. A few edges. It's not going to be comfortable for Glamorgan. All quite tense out there. Another wicket, and really Lancashire will have their tails up, particularly if it's Labuschagne.
Oh, they'll be very excited if it's Labuschagne.
The nerves in the dressing room might be jangling.
Nerves do jangle, don't they?
Yes.
Nerves don't do anything other than jangle. You never get calm nerves, do you? Or kind of slightly swaying nerves. They're always jangling.
146 for 4. Here comes Wood again to bowl to the skipper Chris Cook, who's pushing forward, getting a defensive bat on it. Oohs and ahs from around the bat. There's a slip in, there's a short mid-wicket in.
There is. There's a slip in place, but I won't be expecting too many more than one, and I wouldn't at the time be surprised if there's none in place.
It's been a strange match for that, hasn't it? There haven't been any slip catches at all. As Wood is in to bowl to Cook, who will get off the mark here with at least one. I think they'll turn and look for two. They do, as it's a chase back towards the square leg boundary for Bohannon, and Cook is off the mark with 2. It's 148 for 4, 40 needed for victory. Ray Blight says Neser's spell after lunch yesterday was too good for the group leaders, who have a top order full of class players. Yeah, it was a decisive spell. He was trying to play it down, to be honest.
He was a little bit, yeah. I
said,
to
the others bowled more tightly. It's just me got the wickets.
Yes, he was very kind of low key with it, wasn't he? It was a fantastic spell. It was a wonderful spell of fast bowling. It was great to watch.
Emir Evans says he would have preferred to see Carlson take a more positive approach. 2 short mid-wickets as Cook pushes forward and gets an edge down towards third man, and that'll be another 4, and fortune is not favouring Lancashire even though they have the early wicket. There have been a few off the edge. Glamorgan 152 for 4.
Well, they've just taken a slip out to put him at that second mid-wicket. I don't think it would have been wide anyway of where Luke Wells would have been standing, but that sense of maybe Dame Villas, the captain and keeper, kind of looked up towards the skies as that one flicked down towards fine third man.
36 to win, 6 wickets to win for Lancashire. Short and intense this passage of play. Lancashire are querying the state of the ball.
Interesting that they started with Luke Wood. Kind of expected it to be a Mahmood-Bailey combination, but they've gone for Wood, and he's got the breakthrough obviously, perhaps just rushing Carlson up and finding that leading edge.
Next delivery is turned off his hip by Cook. They'll take 1, and that'll be it this time as throw comes in from Danny Lamb down at fine leg. 153 for 4. Cook on to 7. 35 runs needed for victory for Glamorgan. Steve West on Twitter: whoever wins today this game confirms the excellence of county cricket. Ebbs and flows by the hour, simply engrossing. Thank you, Steve.
Certainly has. I agree with that. It's been a terrific game of cricket. Been good to watch.
Wood in to Labuschagne, who defends on the leg side to short mid-wicket. There's no run. It is the end of Wood's wicket taking over. He has 1 for 19 off 5. And Glamorgan are 153 for 4, needing 35 more runs for victory. They have added 16 this morning, but half of those have been to edged boundaries through third man.
Well, they all count, don't they? Can't beat an edged boundary to third man when you've got a low score to chase. Ideal, best shot of the game. And just looking elsewhere, I mean, there's only, I think everyone's playing apart from Kent. There's a delay to the start of that game, so whether it's still raining or whether it's just a bit of a kind of wet outfield, I don't know, because of the rain that they had yesterday. But everybody else is playing. Nothing yesterday at Essex in Chelmsford, but they're playing Essex Notts, and the Test match is underway as well.
Yeah, Giroud's out early. Caught off Jameson for 42. 115 for 3, England.
Looking forward to watching him bowl, actually. Absolute beast of a man, isn't he? He's only 6'8".
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he's. They think a lot about him. He looks like a very fine cricketer. Can bat as well. Here is Bailey for Lancashire. It'll nudge away into the onside by Chris Cook, straight to those one of the two short mid-wickets, which is Luke Wells, and there's no run. Actually, Keaton Jennings now moving more towards a kind of forward square leg position, just maybe 2 or 3 yards to the left of the square leg umpire. A shortish extra cover. And there's a point, there's mid-off and a mid-on, there's a deep extra cover. Fine leg third man. Bailey bowling, nudged again into the onside with a slightly angled bat from Chris Cook. Deflects out to Keaton Jennings, and there's no run.
Yeah, mixed form for Chris Cook this season. Started well with 2 centuries and a 50 in the space of the first 3 matches, but since then a couple of matches without contributing much, although to be fair, he didn't actually bat in Kent, so it's been very difficult for him to contribute with the bat.
Well, he's batting now. Settles into his crease. Bailey's into him again. Off the back foot, chopping away into the offside. That's a very good run. Made his mind up quickly. Went to the right of the cover point fielder, which was Bahanan. So because Bahanan had to move 3 or 4 yards to his right before he even got to the ball, it's allowed Cook to get through for 1. Nicely run from Cook. Made his mind up early. He knows that Labuschagne's quick. No concerns about Labuschagne not making his ground. He's lightning. And Cook moves to 8. The score moves on to 1-5-4 for 4. So 34 needed for a Glamorgan win. 6 wickets for Lancashire. Bailey comes over the wicket and bowls to Labuschagne. It's eased away through the onside, through square leg for 1. Square-leg man had been pushed back towards the boundary rope, and Labuschagne was content to turn it around the corner for a single.
It's a little bit of scruffy fielding from Lancashire there. The throw wasn't quite on target, and then the lob back towards the mid-off fielder wasn't on target either. As they're trying to rough the ball up a bit.
33 needed to win for Glamorgan. Captain Cook's back on strike. Forward in defence, pushing away back to the bowler. Gathered by Tom Bailey. 1 wicket so far in this innings, 1 for 48. With a delivery to go of his 14th over. 155 for 4.
Bonus of this game being over early for these two sides is that they can squeeze an extra bit of T20 practice in if they can.
Bailey to complete the over balls, and Cook's in behind to defend to mid-on. No run, end of the over, 33 needed for Glamorgan, 6 wickets required for Lancashire. That's very true, yeah, because it's quite a quick turnaround, isn't it? I don't suspect they've had too much time, if any, to actually pick up a white ball and have a practice with it. So Lancashire starts on Wednesday. It's Thursday, isn't it?
Thursday here for Glamorgan, yeah.
So
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, which I'm still yet to find out the exact reason behind it.
Clear your work schedules, Lancashire listeners.
I've been told all sorts of different reasons. I'm not sure if any of them are true or accurate. I don't know why it's...
Loads of school kids, you were saying.
Well, yeah, but then it's not school holidays. But then someone tells me some primary schools are on holiday in Manchester. So
perhaps it's easier to get kids in as part of a working school day. Wood is in to bowl to Labuschagne, who turns one off his legs, gets a single down. Oh, they're coming back for a second here, and they have to hurry, and they do. Gosh, the ball was virtually in the fielder's hands then when Labuschagne started the second run. Must have just thought that Lam was a touch off balance or something. And now Labuschagne's fixing the stumps.
He's a very generous soul. Very helpful.
That was just such a ridiculous seeming second run, but he got home. 157 for 4. Labuschagne to 41. 31 needed to win. Wood in bowls. Labuschagne plays up to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Oh, dramatic stuff. Perhaps Labuschagne has got brunch booked somewhere.
He's probably got a net session.
Yeah, that's more
come
like
out here
it.
and back for about 4 hours this afternoon.
157 for 4. Anyone come and bowl at me, please?
Yeah.
No, we're off to the beach. 31 needed to win. 6 wickets for Lancashire. They've claimed 1 this morning. Wood is in to Labuschagne, who drives into the offside. Won't get a run though, because it's a good stop there by Bailey in the covers. The tall frame of the fast bowler stretching out to his left to prevent any runs.
Well, he's 9 away, Labuschagne, from a half century, isn't he? And we've not had one yet, have we, in the game? Had a 47 from Alex Davis. That's been the top scorer of the match so far. Blimey, he's playing a really good knock here, Labuschagne. The whole thing, his intent, the running's been superb.
Wood is in to bowl. Labuschagne drives to mid-off, no run. Not even for Labuschagne is there a run there. Mid-off is only about 15 metres away from the stumps at the non-striker's end. Umpire Paul Baldwin presiding that end. Alex Wharf, tall and these days lean rather than muscular figure. As Wood in, left arm over. Labuschagne drives and will get another thick edge down to the third man. This time it's just the single taken as Parkinson does the fielding. 158 for 4. 30 runs needed for victory by Glamorgan, having resumed at 137 for 3 overnight with Labuschagne on 32 and Carlson on 14. Carlson added just a couple more before falling caught Vilas Baldwood for 16. That was 146 for 4. Wood is into bowl to Cook, who will flick that one off his legs down to square leg for a single. 159 for 4. And if there's been a little criticism of Luke Wood with so few to play with this morning, I guess there've been a few have been able to be helped away on the leg side. He's not bowled quite straight enough on occasion.
Yes, he obviously got the breakthrough for Lancashire. The starter with Wood. No signs of kind of a Mahmood warming up, or maybe a Daniel Lamb, who on this pitch, the way he bowls, quite straight wicket to wicket. That's been the success that the bowlers have had, but it's a tricky one for the skipper, isn't it? He's not got many runs to work with. And work out your best approach. And there's Bailey in the bowls. It's defended by Cook. He was defending it underneath his nostril. He was playing it and defending it ever so late. But defending well. And the ball's pushed back to the bowler and there's no run.
There's women's action today in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy, that 50 over competition. Western Storm are 50 for 1 in the 14th against South East Stars at the Oval. Heather Knight and skipper Sophie Luff at the wicket.
Here in Cardiff, it's Bailey coming in for Lancashire to bowl. Turned off the pads by Cook, but to mid-wicket there's no run.
So Western Storm side that includes Welsh batter Lauren Parfitt and another Wales player in Danny Gibson. There's a stream available of that game online if you want to follow that once you've finished with us.
Yeah, I think it's Church is there, isn't he? Mark Church is there, I think, covering that game. Bailey in, the back foot, Cook trying to force the ball away, but Livingston's an extra cover to field and there's no run. Plenty of games on Sunday as well, aren't there, in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. If you fancy watching a bit of live cricket, certainly there's a game taking place at Chester Boughton Hall. Thunder in action on Sunday, taking on Lightning. Thunder Lightning clash. 10:30 start in Chester. I was there last Monday. It's a lovely ground. It was a very good game of cricket as well. Here's Bailey in and bowling. Well, balloons up. I'm not sure if it's what that has come off. Certainly some part of the pad and a little bit of the bat.
That's interesting. So that could have been a dismissal if square leg had been maybe a little bit tighter in.
And a run for Cook. He moves to 10, 160 for 4, 28 needed for a Glamorgan win against the only team currently that is unbeaten so far in the county championship across the 3 groups. Bailey to Labuschagne, that's defended into the onside, and there is no run. Somerset and Gloucestershire, Warwickshire have all lost 1 or once. Lancashire played 7, won 4, drawn 3, heading into this, the final round before we break for about a month of T20 cricket. It's Bailey over the wicket and bowling. It's pulled by Labuschagne towards deep square leg, and he's got the strike again as the Australian. It's the end of the over. 161 for 4. Labuschagne on 43. Chris Cook is unbeaten on, I think, 10. He is. Target of 188 for a Glamorgan win. Well, they're 161 for 4.
Fran Perlow says, superb coverage, great drama and a great game of cricket. Is Sophia Gardens the best located cricket ground for fans in the country? It's among the sort of major grounds, it's probably got the nicest surrounds, I would suggest, in terms of the park setting. 161 for 4 as Labuschagne gets one up in the block hole from Wood. Good delivery.
I was very excited leaving the ground last night because as I walked through the park, I thought it's a nice evening, and Edward recommended getting down to kind of Cardiff Bay because there's quite a few bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
It'd be a lovely evening. So I thought, yeah, I'll get myself down to Cardiff Bay. And as I walked through the park, there were signs for a water taxi to Cardiff Bay. I thought, this is quite exciting. I quite fancy doing that.
Yeah, was it running?
No.
Ah. Shame. 161 for 4 as Wood bowls. Labuschagne drives into the offside. Scrambling half stop by Bailey, who really used every inch of his tall frame there and couldn't quite stop it cleanly. The ball just spun a few metres away from him, and they were through for the single. 162 for 4. Glamorgan trail by 25 runs. As that means there's 26 to win. You're on BBC Sport Online. Labuschagne is 44, Cook 10. Wood has taken the only wicket to fall this morning, that of Kiran Carlson, who had a ball that hurried onto him, lobbed it up in the air, and it was just a question of who came in to catch it. Here comes Wood, left arm, and Cook defends that. He's got a very straight run up, but it is theoretically round the wicket, I suppose. It's from that side, definitely. Richard Black on Twitter. What exactly is meant to be wrong with this pitch? A combination of poor shots, some electric fast bowling, and the current trend of more generous LBW decisions on both sides' parts. Well, those are all factors, yeah. I think generally Glamorgan would have liked a bit of better carry in the pitch, maybe. 162 for 4. 6 wickets still needed by Lancashire as Cook defends this one up towards mid-on. Very good morning to Edward Bevan.
Very good morning to you, Nick, and everyone else who's watching and listening. Another beautiful morning in Cardiff, and Glamorgan, having lost that wicket, seem to be going on quite nicely at the moment, led by Marnus Labuschagne.
Yeah, I suspect if he went now, there might still be a few jitters, given the collapses that have occurred in this match. Here is Wood to bowl to Cook, who pushes forward up to mid-off, and there's no run.
Talking about the pitch, Nick, in my mind, I mentioned it yesterday, I think that the pitch is not helping the cricket bowlers anywhere near as much as it did on the first day, and it seems to have evened out because Glamorgan 162, just 4 wickets gone. And when you think of it, it's basically the sort of second day pitch, isn't it? Except for what, half an hour or so.
Wood in to bowl to Cook, who plays defensively to short mid-wicket. No run. Again, only one or no slips in this game, and
did you see that
players in it close on the leg side?
Did you see that he took the slip away?
And
the next ball flew through.
Yeah,
chest high. Yeah. So Glamorgan need 188, and they need another 26 runs to win this game. I think it's been a very good game of cricket.
It's been a really absorbing struggle, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Very close throughout.
It will be Bailey to continue, and he's bowling to Labuschagne. He's over the wicket and bowls to him, and Labuschagne chops that. They're a late cut down to third man. They amble through for a single. And Villas is standing up, goes to Labuschagne. Most keepers do now, but goes back for Cook. Cook just nudging it around. He's moved on to 10, and if you've just joined us, the batsman out this morning, Kiran Carlson, got a very short delivery which he tried to defend or play around on the leg side, but it was a little bit too quick for him, and he lobbed it up in the air for Villas to take. Here's the next ball. Cook is forward. Firm push out into the offside. There's no run.
England's Ollie Pope starting to get going. He's hit 5 boundaries fairly quickly after dismissal of Joe Root for 42. Pope is on 21. Burns is still there on 62. England 135 for 3 in reply to New Zealand's 378 all out. Remember, you can catch radio and online commentary of that once this is finished from the BBC.
Here's Bailey over the wicket now and bowls, and that one kept just a little bit low, but Cook went down. He's got a crouch-in stance, says Chris Cook, and he got down very quickly and pushed it away on the offside. Yeah, Root out first ball of the day, wasn't it?
Was it first ball? Oh, right.
Nicked it to second slip. No slips here to talk of. Everybody defending. Third man, deep extra cover, point, a mid-off and an extra cover, long leg, 2 on the onside and a mid-on. It's Bailey bowls, and this is played away to one of 2 fielders there within a couple of yards of each other.
Shame about the washout in the Test match yesterday. It basically means that, well, you hardly ever see declarations in Test match cricket, so I can't see any real likelihood that the captains would cook something up, as
they never do they?
Occasionally happens in county cricket. No.
Bailey then comes in again and bowls, and this is played firmly away on the onside, but it's well fielded there. Tall figure of Luke Wells, I think it is. Yes, it is.
A few tall figures in this Lancashire side, isn't there? With
a couple of good second row forward, Nick.
Bailey and Wells.
They haven't got the bulk to go with it.
No.
Talking of declarations, you were down in Kent when they concocted a game, and I'm just looking at that score this morning as Bailey comes in and bowls. This is defended, and that is the end of the over, 163 for 4. And would you believe it? There's an inspection at 11. You were telling me it wasn't so much the pitch, it's the part of the outfield.
Yeah, it's just lower than the square itself, as we're having a brief sanitisation break here at Sophia Gardens, with Glamorgan 25 short of victory. Lancashire still needing 6 wickets. It's the area just on the lower half of the outfield from the square, where it slopes away. The bottom end of the square was a bit problematic, and there was a lot of sawdust there, but the umpires... Well, we hardly had any rain for 2 out of the 4 days, but we hardly had any play either. It was all from the night before.
Now, the reason I brought it up, because not 365 for 5, well, they've got just, well, a day and a half probably left, where they pull inside 400, have a chat, chase 400 in a day and a half. I don't know. We shall have to wait to see, because if Glamorgan, and they look like it at the moment anyhow, win this game, then they'll be up with Northampton in 3rd place.
Yeah, it'll be challenging.
Anyway,
certainly interesting stuff in these small 6-team groups, playing home and away. It's not a bad format. I'm warming to it.
Pity there wasn't more of it.
As Wood is in to bowl, and Labuschagne pulls this one away down to square leg. There's a fielder on the boundary there, Bohannon, so he'll only get a single. 164 for 4.
Excellent article this morning in the Times newspaper by our good friend Steve James on Marnus Labuschagne. Steve was down last Wednesday when Labuschagne was having an extended net and did an interview. It's an absorbing read. If you can get hold of it online or whatever, just have a look at it, because it tells you all about his mind thought, everything that he does.
Next delivery from Wood to Chris Cook finds the captain playing forwards, gently to point, fielded by Wells. No run. Well, Steve, of course, does some work with the academy.
Yeah, and he coaches at a Monmouth school. Couldn't think of a better coach.
I wonder if he had any words of wisdom for Mr. Labuschagne.
He didn't. I was expecting him to say.
I told him to just change his grip.
A lot of talk of Matthew Maynard, the Glamorgan coach, on it, how he'd adjusted and all that.
Yeah, they seem to work well together.
Yeah.
Wood is in to bowl to Cook, who defends to short mid-wicket. No run. Well, Lancashire have had one breakthrough through Wood, but 24 runs. The target is getting ominously closer, as from the visitor's point of view, as Danny Lamb going through a few gentle exercises at fine leg in case he is called upon. Just the two bowlers used so far in the first 35 minutes. You'd have thought Lancashire would maybe change the attack soon, as that's a short ball down leg side and pulled away by Chris Cook. Poor delivery, I'm afraid to say, from Wood's point of view, and Cook just had to pivot on it and help it on its way. Managed to get it fine of fine leg, and he moves to 16, 168 for 4. Just 20 runs needed for victory.
Yeah, 31 runs added this morning in quick time. So Glamorgan's batsmen, especially Labuschagne, have been positive. And Cook has come in. He was out cheaply without scoring in the first innings, but does look quite at home as he's moved on to 14.
As in comes Wood again, bowls, and Cook plays this one off his leg straight to short mid-wicket. And there's no run. Good morning to Charlie Taylor, who's forsaken Somerset to hear the end of this one. So Lawrence Sunahan, give me a game with these scores rather than 500 per side in the first innings. Thank you, Lawrence.
I've got to remind you, you loved that game, didn't you, Northampton?
Oh, 570 plays 750. Oh, yes. 168 for 4. Wood in, and Cook defends. Back to the bowler. Oh, it's not picked up by the bowler, just runs gently up to mid-off. There's no run. So, 20 to win, 6 wickets still needed for Lancashire. The slim chances that Lancashire had, well, we put them as around about 30% maybe for Lancashire overnight, but that's receded considerably now with just 20 to win and still 6 wickets in hand.
I said that they moved along quite quickly, but I'm surprised perhaps Bailey bowling here. I thought Mahmood would have a big blast this morning, or possibly Parkinson, I don't know. But I better be careful and say that Bailey hasn't troubled anybody. He'll probably nip somebody out, but he is going to continue. He's a very good, steady bowler, and he is bowling now, comes up and bowls, and that's guided with an open face by Labuschagne down to third man. He turns and looks, but surely Labuschagne won't take that. A good arm coming in from third man.
Well, I was astounded by one of the second runs he took to deep square leg when the ball appeared to be virtually in the hands of the fielder when they set off for the second run.
Javed Miandad, who of course is a great Pakistan batsman, played for Glamorgan for a few seasons back in the 70s, and he would run the first run. I'll just break off because Bailey is preparing to come in to bowl to Chris Cook. He's over the wicket, past the umpire, and bowls now, and he just pushes forward on the onside rather suspiciously, but it's no problem for him. Javed would watch the fielder pick it up, and as he was throwing it in the air, would judge whether it was going to be right over the top, which it rarely is, or was it a yard or two left of the wicketkeeper. And well, not invariably, he always got the run, going to the danger end. And Labuschagne's a bit like that. As Bailey bowls a slow ball, Cook is forward, pushes it up to extra cover, and there's no run. 169 for 4. 19 runs needed for what would be a very, very welcome and a very good Glamorgan win against this strong Lancashire side who are top of the table. There's Bailey again and bowls, and this time Cook defends in the line of middle and off, pushes it back down the wicket, no run.
They will remain top of the table even if they lose, because they had a 24-point gap over Yorkshire at the start of play. Yorkshire fairly well placed against Sussex though, so they'll do well to force a victory in that game, but they should take pretty close to maximum points, I would have thought.
Bailey is in and bowls, and this time is dabbed down into the gully region. Bohannon comes in quickly to field, and there's no run, just the one ball, I think, left in this over. Yes, from Bailey. He's bowled, or will have bowled 15 overs after he delivers the next one.
Yorkshire 308 for 3, just 5 runs now behind Sussex. David Milan's 114 not out, so it seems likely that
balance out then, isn't it?
Balance out for 77. Yorkshire could well take maximum bonus points from that game, even if they can't force a victory.
Bailey to complete the over, bowls to Cook, and Cook drives onto the onside. It's fielded again by Wells. That is the end of another over. Glamorgan are 169 for 4. And Labuschagne is on 47, Cook is on 14, and stranger things have happened at sea, as they say, but really I can't see Glamorgan with 19 runs to win losing.
It would appear very unlikely, but still a fraction of hope left for Lancashire, given the collapses in this match that we've had, with wickets falling in clusters throughout. Glamorgan 150 all out in their first innings, Lancashire 173 and 164. Not a batting point in sight. It's Wood who will continue then from the River Taff end. No slips, no catching short leg now, as Labuschagne is beaten by one outside off stump. Again, going through no more than about knee high to keeper Vilas.
Yeah, good ball that. Just looking at the replay now. Yeah, excellent delivery.
So they're 5 saving the single. Square leg is back, fine leg is back, third man, and now a sweeper on the cover boundary. So trying to frustrate Labuschagne. He's on 47 not out. Chris Cook on 14 not out. 169 for 4. Wood bowls and Labuschagne covers up and plays back to the bowler. There's no run.
Long trip back to Manchester for the Lancashire lads, and I was just telling Scott Reed, I was coming up the M4 this morning, and a warning, even as far back as this, that the M5 from junction 2 to junction 5 is closed. And that's a long distance.
Right.
Because that's after the Worcester turn-off. And back near Cheltenham.
Oh.
Something has happened.
Should be able to avoid that, shouldn't it?
Yeah, tell me how. We've been looking at it.
Oh, right. Labuschagne flicks this one off his legs and gets a single down to deep square. There's a slight misfield by Bohannon, and Labuschagne is quickly a couple of metres down the track. Just checking if there's a second. Chris Cook advised otherwise. 170 for 4, 18 to win for Glamorgan.
So, yeah, if you go up the M5, you're going to catch it. If you go up the M50, you're going to catch it.
All right.
Oh, I don't know. No, you can't go up Kidderminster way because you're going to catch it there.
As Wood bowls and Cook plays that one back down the wickets to the bowler. Let's hope that our colleague Scott isn't too inconvenienced by that. And
can you
think team bus? I'm having difficulty in visualising which bits I never remember motorway numbers. It's meaningless.
Well, I know 4 is the Worcester turn-off. I've been there hundreds of times for cricket. And if you go on, it's then Kidderminster. I don't know.
I don't think it's one we can worry about too much here.
Well, I'm thinking of Scott, of course.
170 for 4 as Cook adds another single at least. He's flicked it down to fine leg, run the first one first, but quickly. But Lamb made good ground to it, picked up cleanly, kept them down. 171 for 4. Labuschagne on 48 not out. So if he gets those extra 2 runs, it will be his first half-century in this season for Glamorgan. After an innings of 11, 12, 10, 0, 11, 0 not out, and 44 in the first innings. as he runs that one down gently towards third man, and they'll turn and come back for a second, and that is Marnus Labuschagne's half century, and that's quite ridiculous running from Labuschagne. Most players wouldn't even have thought of a second run there, but he just noodled it down. It was running very slowly towards third man. He took all the pace off it, and that half century, including just 4 fours, but it's come off 54 deliveries. So he's been busy, certainly.
Yes, that's the exact word. Busy, running, making 1 into 2s, and just keeping the scoreboard ticking over. And Bailey will continue. It looks as if he's going to bowl these 2.
That's strange to me.
Yeah,
if something isn't working first up, then change it quickly.
Here's Bailey then. Comes in now to Cook and bowls to him, and Cook is forward, plays it up to cover. The only thing I can think of, Nick, is that, OK, you've got different angles. Wood is left arm, and Bailey, of course, is right arm. And perhaps they are exponents of reverse swing, hence the 2-3 men from square leg to mid-on, as the ball comes into them, do play in that. We saw David Loy get out that way.
Neser was talking about reverse swing. He said there's been quite a bit of it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can think, is Bailey is over the wicket, balls to Cook. Cook drives, doesn't really time with it any conviction, and it's fielded there at mid-off by Wood. So just the 1 wicket to fall this morning. Carlson was a little bit, well, not too slow on the shot. The ball was too quick for him as he tried to flick it away, and he just lobbed in the air, and an easy catch for Villas behind the wicket, although he had to run forward a couple of yards, and he went for 16, partnership of 44 with Labuschagne. Next ball is turned round the corner down towards fine leg, and they go through for a single. I tell you what, if you bat with Labuschagne, you can have your skates on and be ready. No adjustment in the field for Labuschagne. He's undefeated at 50, not out. 174 for 4, just 14 runs then. That's Bailey passes umpire Wharf again. Bowls a Labuschagne. Oops, and he's beaten outside the off stump there. Good ball, drifted away. Quicker ball. He's mixing it up, is Bailey. He's trying everything here. Second time in a couple of overs now, Labuschagne has been beaten. Yeah, he felt for that when it was well outside the off stump, and he just tried to nerdle it down to third man, who again is very square. You normally expect third man to be a good 20-25 yards finer. There's Bailey in, bowls, and Labuschagne clips that away on the onside, straight to Luke Wells fielding, no run.
The good folk of the Penydarren country left have been in touch, saying, looking like a great win for Glamorgan. We play at Lisvane tomorrow if anyone needs a cricket fix with no day for it, Sophia Gardens. So
yeah, I know those are. They're terrific. And it's the old sort of country house cricket club. It's brilliant. If you have a chance to read a bit of it, Nick, it's great. As Bailey comes in and is pushed away on the offside. The side from the Merthyr area. End of the over, incidentally. It's 174 for 4. They also play at Wormsley, you know.
All right.
No messing. And I think it's when they start at 11:30 and they break for probably a 2-hour lunch. And beautiful food. And that's the way, you know, no leagues involved, proper game of cricket. And I played in a few of those games, and it was terrific fun. Yeah.
Very good. Stephen Moss on Twitter says, Neser has made such a difference to this team. Northants wouldn't have got that 350 and 60 overs with him. But presumably no Neser or Labuschagne for the second phase in September, so Division 1 would be too great a challenge. Well, Glamorgan will remain in 4th place in this group if they do complete victory. As Cook drives at that one but misses outside off stump. Wood with a moral victory but no more. And Lancashire will remain top of the table, whatever happens here.
That was a wide ball again. I think probably the batsmen are confident now that victory is in their sight, and they're relaxed just a little and not playing careful as they did at the start of their respective innings.
In comes Wood again then from the River Taff end. To bowl to Chris Cook on 16 not out with 14 needed to win. Cook drives, thinks about a quick single, but there isn't one there. That was similar to the run out of Hogan when batting with Neser yesterday morning. Drive to mid-on. This time they thought better of it. 174 for 4. Labuschagne is 50. Chris Cook 16 not out. Luke Wood with the only wicket to fall this morning. That of Kiran Carlson, caught behind off a lobbed top edge by Vilas. Wood steams in, bowls. Cook drives hard straight to mid-off. They'll take on the throw, and it misses the stumps at the non-strikers end. That might have been tight because Cook hit that one very firmly as the throw from Alex Davis came in.
Alex Davis had some words to say in the post-match interviews last night, and
described it as substandard pitch, not good enough for 4-day cricket.
Yeah,
he's entitled to his view.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what the reply from Matthew Maynard will be.
I shall put that to him.
No doubt you will.
As Labuschagne runs one down, but straight to Gully and Jennings Fields, and there's no run. Personally, I'd like to see a pitch with a bit more carry for 4-day cricket. The bounce has been slightly on the low side from this angle anyway. But although it's been a good struggle and a fascinating game of cricket,
but he's
just prefer to see
I think.
championship cricket with a few more runs in it. Maybe the 200s to 250s. Labuschagne drives straight to mid-on. But acknowledge that the heavy rain we had on Wednesday may have made a difference to the preparation. I'm not skilled in these areas of ground staff work.
Had Glamorgan been chasing 250 in the way that these two are playing, especially Labuschagne, you'd say, well, yeah, he has got immeasurably better in the last day or so, and probably you might be absolutely right about some residual dampness, moisture being on the pitch, which he couldn't get rid of.
Wood into Labuschagne, who will chop it down to third man. Runs the first one quickly, and this time decides against the second run. Parkinson was wise to it this time. Got his throw in as quickly as he could. 176 for 4, 12 needed for victory by Glamorgan. Labuschagne is 51, Cook is 17. And this table will be pretty tight after the end of this round of matches tomorrow evening. We'll have to wait with Yorkshire, Sussex and Kent, Northants likely to play right through till tomorrow night. Those games are not very far advanced. But
well, it makes it more interesting, and Glamorgan really had to win this one, as they would most certainly do now, because they would have been out of it, wouldn't they?
Pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah. If they win this one, you would have thought that a place in Division 2 would be reasonably secure, barring disasters against Sussex and Northants.
So it will be Bailey with around dozen runs needed for victory for Glamorgan, and he is bowling to Labuschagne, who drives back down the pitch, fielded at mid-off. Straight as Zabangar, that shot. Full face of the bat. He goes for a little wander. He's 51. Cook is 17. And this partnership has put on 30 useful runs.
England in trouble, 140 for 5.
Oh. In comes Bailey again. Clipped away down towards fine leg. Off he goes like a hare, but there'll be no second run here. So I'll be satisfied with a single. 178. 177, or is it 178? We shall wait. 177.
So the wickets to fall after Joe Root early on. Ollie Pope leg before to Southey for 22, and Dan Lawrence caught by de Grandhomme off Southey, second ball. 140 for 5.
Ooh. And there's a couple of days after this.
No, just the one.
Bailey bowls. Is it a 4-day test?
No, it's a 5-day, but of course they had a day rained off, so this is day 4, theoretically.
Of course it is, you're absolutely right. I'm missing my days.
It's only the 3rd day of actual play, but...
Yeah. Well, they might well make them follow on, won't they?
Well, there's another 39 needed, yeah.
And now, the wicketkeeper Villas is coming up. What's Bailey going to bowl here?
Bit of spin.
Oh,
we've seen Graham Wagg switch from seam to
Yeah.
spin mid-over, but Tom Bailey bowling slow.
bowling off spin. Oh, and he's nearly caught behind up a thick edge of a ball that the arm ball. Dive, despairing dive there by Villas. Wow. If he's bowling spin, I bet Parkinson is wondering, well, why aren't I having a little twirl? What's going on? Somebody's coming up to have a word with Bailey.
11 to win. Davis throwing his penneth in.
Bailey bowls. Forward comes Cook. Perfectly nice action and spot on the length. And that, I think, might tell you that Bailey will take his sweater, sanitise in time again. So Glamorgan chasing 188 at 177 for 4, 11 runs needed. Labuschagne is on 52, Cook is on 17, and from those last couple of deliveries from Bailey, Lancashire appear to have not conceded the game, but have given up the ghost, do you think?
It's an acknowledgement, isn't it?
Yeah.
As the ball is tossed to Danny Lamb to bowl his medium fast from the River Taff end. It's quite a late bowling change from Dane Villas, really, with just 11 to win. In comes Lamb, keeper standing up. Bowls to Labuschagne on leg stump, flicked away down towards backward square. They'll probably take a second here, and they will come back for the second run as the throw comes in. Update for BBC Radio Wales in a few minutes' time.
Where possibly the game will be over.
Possibly. In comes Lamb. Bowls to Labuschagne, clips another one off his legs. Again, they'll look for 2 as the throw comes in from deep backward square. And they this time settle for a single. 180 for 4. Labuschagne to 55 not out. 8 needed to win for Glamorgan. In comes Lamb to bowl, and forward comes Cook to defend on the offside.
And after this game, of course, Nick, we look forward to next Thursday and next Sunday, where Glamorgan will be playing T20. Both games at home as they work out how many people and how are they going to be seated and whatever.
Yep, members, check your emails. You have to register your interest to make sure your ticket between Monday morning and Tuesday morning. Lamb bowls, Cook drives up to mid-off, no run.
I'll be delighted to be with you, Nick, of course, and Michael Powell, isn't it?
Mike Powell on Thursday night, and Graham Wagg then making his BBC Radio Wales debut on Sunday afternoon.
Waggy won't be short of a word or two.
That's my hope.
As he was on the field.
And Scott will be in action with Lancashire commentary on Wednesday afternoon as Lamb bowls, and
he tells me with him will be
mid-off.
Stephen Moore,
Right.
the former Lancashire and Worcestershire opening batsman. So we can look forward to a bit of fun, as they say. Gloucestershire, the visitors, here from over the 7. And, they'll probably be without Bracey. I can't see England letting Bracey play in a 2020 match before the second test.
Lamb in to bowl, and slower delivery driven by Cook to cover, and there's no run. No hurry from Chris Cook, 17 not out, just 8 to win. He's happy just to try and take them as they come. Labuschagne is busy enough at the other end. 180 for 4.
And it will be now the Lancashire off-spinner, Tom Bailey, to bowl. Midway through the last over, after 3 balls, he decided he's going to bowl a bit of off-break and nearly dismissed Cook. An acrobatic dive by wicketkeeper and captain Villas just failed to get there off the ball that went on with the arm. He's now going to be bowling to Labuschagne, and he's coming in now and bowls, and Labuschagne tries to guide that. Now, mid-off and mid-on are up. I wouldn't be surprised if Labuschagne, remember a game in Newport, off-spinner, he hit him 3 times over a commentary box. And just to show that he can clear the ring. As he comes in now, Bailey bowls to Labuschagne, but he square drives this on a flatter delivery, and it's very well fielded at cover.
To be fair to Lancashire, they've thrown themselves around in this hour's play this morning, haven't they?
Bailey bowling off spin comes, and he does hit him over the top for 4. Could see that coming really with mid-off and mid-on. Right, so a boundary now, and just 4 runs needed for victory, and I think it's appropriate, Nick, that you can do the last couple of balls. So hopefully it'll be recorded for posterity.
Very kind, Edward. Here comes Bailey then from the Cathedral Road end with 4 to win. Down the wicket comes Labuschagne, turns it on the leg side, and they'll go through for the single. 3 needed for Glamorgan. 185 for 4. Lancashire just taking one of the 7 wickets that they needed today. As Bailey bowls, and Cook steps back and tries to run it down but doesn't get enough momentum on it, and it'll be fielded at short third man. 185 for 4. Last ball of the Bailey over. Cook forward. He fancies a little asterisk next to his name, a red inker. Cook is 17. 185 for 4. Labuschagne is on 60. Not out.
And appropriate, I suppose, for Labuschagne, if he can get these 3 runs to score the winning runs, having guided Glamorgan to this victory.
I think we'd better get Scott back in, if you don't mind,
I'm just
Edward.
going to be reading my mind, yes. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and it really has been a delight again, and great to work with Scott Reed, who is coming back into the commentary box. And as we said earlier, I hope he finds a journey back somehow.
There we are. It'll be Luke Wells to bowl what may be the last over of this match at 185 for 4. 3 runs needed to win for Glamorgan. Wells in then to Labuschagne. 3 to win, and Labuschagne back on his stumps, playing it out on the offside, and there's no run. Labuschagne is not going to mess around and get himself out. Just a couple short of victory, 3 short of victory. It's on 60 not out. Wells bowls, and maybe a bit of turn as it's turned gently to short mid-wicket. Tall figure of Luke Wells from the River Taff end. With half a dozen paces run up, Labuschagne steps back and plays it into the offside. Will take a single out to cover. 186 for 4. 3 runs needed to win. What do you make of this bowling change, Scott?
I think it ultimately really matters. It's been a magnificent knock from Marnus Labuschagne. Really showed his skill on this for Glamorgan.
Wells bowls. Cook drives into the offside but won't get a run. Fielded by Davis at mid-off as Jennings got half a hand to it to take the weight off the ball. 2 to win for Glamorgan. Skipper Chris Cook on strike. Wells bowls. Cook again hits it straight to cover, and there is no run. And although Lancashire are turning to some occasional spin. Glamorgan is certainly taking it seriously as Cook pushes forward, slightly off a leading edge, but drops short of the bowler. So Wells conceded just a single off the over, and Glamorgan remained 2 short of victory. Have you ever seen Bailey bowling spin before?
Probably, yeah. He's probably bowled a bit of gentle off spin.
Yeah.
In not too dissimilar situations previously, I would think. But I mean, yeah, this is a fabulous win for Glamorgan. Labuschagne last night and through this morning, outstanding, really showing all his skill. He's just obviously an absolutely world-class batsman, and it's been a pleasure to watch how he's put this innings together. He's been superb. He's not been the difference, but certainly he's been superb for Glamorgan.
Here comes Bailey then, into bowl to Labuschagne, who runs that one down towards third man. They'll run the first one, they'll come back for a second, and Glamorgan do get home by 6 wickets early on day 3 of this championship match. A superb innings by Marnus Labuschagne. Appropriate that he hits the winning runs. Labuschagne is 63 not out, Cook is 17 not out, and Glamorgan victorious at 188 for 4 here at Sophia Gardens. So just the story of the day. Glamorgan resuming on 137 for 3 with Labuschagne on 32, Carlson on 14. They have lost just the 1 wicket today. That of Kiran Carlson, caught behind off a top edge off the bowling of Luke Wood for 16. And Lancashire have fought hard until the last couple of moments, really, but they suffer their first defeat of the season. And not an anxious weekend, particularly for Lancashire, but they'll be keeping an eye on other results and hoping that Yorkshire and Northants don't end up victorious and close that gap at the top, Scott.
Yeah, indeed, yes, and that will be something they'll certainly keep an eye on over the course of today and tomorrow. But congratulations to Glamorgan. And I said Marnus Labuschagne, I mean, to be fair, he has, hasn't he? He has been the difference. He's the only player to get a half-century in the match. He's the top scorer of the innings, and he's measured, calm approach, his high skill batting has been the bedrock, really, of this Glamorgan run chase. He's been superb, so a really good knock for him. Congratulations to Glamorgan. I thought it was a fascinating couple of days. Really enjoyed the cricket. The pitch was sporty. It was a little bit of spice in it. Lancashire have obviously got their view, or at least Alex Davis had last night, but a contrasting pitch to what Lancashire would be used to playing at, for example, at Old Trafford, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And Glamorgan have, as I say, have got themselves an excellent win, but thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you very much indeed to Scott Reed. He will be back on Wednesday afternoon with Lancashire coverage, so clear your schedules for the day or the afternoon. At any rate, it's an afternoon match at Old Trafford. Edward and myself will be back with Mike Powell for a 6:30 start on Thursday evening with a crowd back at Sophia Gardens for T20. Hope you can join us for one of those games, whichever your preference, or even both. Wednesday afternoon for Lancashire, Thursday evening for Glamorgan. So we'll be back. Thanks very much indeed.